Okay, hello. Today I have this Siglent oscilloscope in front of me. It's an SDS800X HD. And today I'm going to be modifying the fan system on it because it's way too noisy. So this is not a fault. There's nothing wrong with the fan. It's just the draft going in from the inlet, coming out from the exhaust makes a lot of annoying noise, which is actually too loud to keep listening to when you're running it for a long time. In actual fact, if I knew this oscilloscope had this symptom, I would not have bought it. That's how loud and annoying it is. So after reading on the internet, it says that some people have put this fan on it, which is the NF A6X25 Noctua, designed in Austria fan. And the fan is this. So this is the same size as the fan inside. And apparently this fan have better bearings and all that, and it's a good design and everything. And also comes what they call adapters, which all they are, they're not adapters at all. They're just a resistor. So one wire have a 51 ohm resistor built in it, and the other one, which they call the ultra quiet, has about 148 ohm resistor in there inside, in series. So all it is, it's dropping the voltage down from 12 volts to a low voltage, probably 8 volts, 7 volts. But I have tested the one that says the ultra one, the 148 ohm in series. This is way too slow. I believe if you run this fan will run so slow that it might overheat the oscilloscope. So I will just probably run the 51 ohm one, and I will do some testing. But so that's what I'm going to be doing. So how I said, there's nothing wrong with the fan. So my bearings on the fan, they're still good and everything. That's not what makes the noise. The noise is not from the mechanical part of the fan. The noise is the actual air noise, okay? The air draft creating a noise through the casing. Okay. And here we'll just measure the resistor. So the middle pin, which is the positive. So I'm in the middle pin there, and the middle pin on the other side of the plug. And you can see there it's measuring about 148 ohms. This is what they call the ultra low noise. Of course, my test shows it hardly gets any air out at all with that. And now we'll measure this one, the other one, which they call an adapter, because it is an adapter in the plug, but the difference is having a resistor, that's all. And that one measures, you can see there, 51 ohms. Okay. So now I'll hook up the voltage to it, and we'll measure what that is. So here I'll put the adapter in series with the fan, and we'll measure the voltage. So we gotta go the middle pin, which is the positive, and the other side, it's got 3 wires. One's a yellow, one's a black. The yellow is to measure the speed of the fan, which probably is not going to be used. So it's probably designed for a computer. So negative and positive. the fan is running, and we'll measure what the voltage is on this. Turn the voltmeter to, so I'll measure the input, which should read around 12 volts. And there I have 11.95, pretty much 12 volts, okay. We'll measure, see if I can measure the other side without shorting the wires. And there it's running 8.8 volts. So it's dropped it from 12 to 8.8. Okay. Now if I try the 148 ohm one, we'll see what that drops it to. I don't think I will be using this, of course. I think the fan runs way too slow on it, because I've already tried it. Okay. Okay. We'll measure the voltage with the 148 ohm resistor. And that's measuring to 5.87 volts. Let's say 5.9, okay? Because the voltage is slightly under 12 volts, so let's say 6 volts. Look, if I stop the fan, look at that, it goes to 12 volts. And if I stop it, look, it doesn't really want to start. Doesn't like it. I think that's way too slow, and I can't feel any draft at all. I can't feel any on my fingers here. Very light. Too light. Almost does nothing. So I don't think I'll be using that. It's way too slow. It's pretty much half the voltage. This should be 12 volts. It's a 12 volts motor, and we're giving it 6 volts. Okay. So that's up to there. Okay, so now it's a matter of taking these 4 screws. There's actually one there, one here, and 2 on the top underneath the handle. One there and one there. Now, they looks like they're a torque screw, so I'll have to get a tool for that. Okay. Okay, I'm trying a different setting on the camera here, so try to focus. Has the screws in it, okay? I don't know if there's a number on the screw, but they are the screws. Okay. Top screws, now the bottom screws. got some sort of blue Loctite on it. Okay. And need to unclip from the top. There you go. Okay. Just a bit tight. Oh, there you go. That's the cover off. Okay. Now there's the fan there. Okay, so looks like we've got to take. It's got a shielding cover on here. So a matter of taking screws out from there. Looks like there's 3 here. Three there. Looks like there's 2 in the bottom. It looks like that's another one there. Another one there, and I think I don't see any more screws. I think that may be it. Let's see. Yep. Okay, hang on a minute. Okay, this one, there's a nut here. It looks like we've got to take this coaxial nut off the socket. So, get the shifter. There's a washer there. Star washer. Okay, let's try now. Yep. Okay, so there's a, this looks like the fan plug. Undo that. Looks like the power supply plug. You got to be careful not to force the circuit board. You got to press the tag, wiggle it, and that's off. Okay, so there is the oscilloscope there. Okay. And here we got the fan and the power supply. So this fan looks like it gets air out of the case, the power supply and some of the case build-up. Okay. Now also here, which I did this off camera now, that's the inlet. One side's the inlet, the other side is the output. This is the output side. The back cover, where the power supply goes, okay, what I did, just to show here, you see here, there's the plastic, there's that height there, that was all the way to here. Now the fan actually is big, is slightly bigger from that point to that point. Well, you can see slightly bigger, okay? I mean, what I did, I filed down this plastic here. So as I said, from there, that was all the way close there, which made this area a bit smaller. Now, I don't think this is going to make that much difference regarding noise, right? But regarding air, since the fan's going to be running slower to cut the noise, I thought I wanted as much less restriction as possible. So around where the fan section is, which is from that point to that point, I filed these down. And the other thing I did, I smoothed it with the sandpaper here, try to round off, slightly round off here, the edges, just to make it a bit more aerodynamic, because it's just flat. It's just the way it was, flat. So I rounded off the corners instead of leaving them 100% flat with the sandpaper and file, okay? That's what I did. Now, I don't know if you need to do this, but I did it. So on the inlet, I haven't touched it, but you can see the inlet is how it is 100% flat. Hasn't got rounders on the edges, okay? But you can see the inlet is fully open, but the outlet was not, because it's got this restriction here. It was all the way to there, so I filed that down, okay? So now it's a matter of changing the fan. So just removing the fan. There are torque screws as well. Okay, so here's the fan. Just remove that. Let's see if it can focus on this. So I have noticed with these Samsung phones, when you close the app and restart it, okay, then it will focus. You see, now it's focusing. If you pause it or anything like that, sometimes it will not focus. So that's the original fan, okay? And you can see the comparison here. This is the new fan, the Noctua one, whatever how you pronounce that. That's it there. That it's less restriction. It has less restriction. See the size here is smaller. This is much bigger, so it's only allowing only here from that point to that point, where this is much wider. And turning back this way, you can see that is quite wide there, and this one is smaller. Let me measure that. So So that diameter is 26. Okay, we'll measure this one, 31, close to 32, yeah, 31.9. We go back to this, 25.6. Go to 0 at 0, okay? So this is 25.67, and this is 31.2, something like that. 31.7, okay? Depends how I've got the vernier on there. But so yes, the new fan, right, doesn't restrict the air as much. So I suppose that's why as well we can get away with trying to slow it down a little bit. And also it has rubber cushions here to try to stop any vibrations as well. It also comes, the box here, it comes with its own screws. It also comes with these 4 rubbers. I'll show you just one. So if you don't want to put the screws, you can put the rubber, but I don't think this is needed, so I think it's just the screws is good enough. And I might even put the original screws back in it, of the original fan. We'll see how that is. Okay, so I'm fitting the fan. I'm using the original screws of the oscilloscope, so there's no need to use the screws that came with the fan. In actual fact, these are slightly touch shorter. The original screws, I mean the screws that came with the fan, they're a bit too long anyway, and they countersunk, so it doesn't match the surface here. As you can see here, they are a countersunk screw, which is not suitable for this application. It's not countersunk, so there's no need to over tighten them. It has got the rubber on the fan. Now, originally the original wire of the fan came out from here, but it also have a shorter wire. You see there, I just removed the terminal, which I'm going to use the plug here, but I've got new terminals. The other issue is this wire is very long here, but it's got plenty of space to go in here. That's the adapter with the resistor. I just could put a resistor in there if I want, okay? My own 51 ohms. But I'm not going to bother. I will put this, but I have to remove, actually here, that's the wrong here. I remove the plug out of the adapter because it's the wrong plug. That plug is not, it's not the same as that. And that's what we need on the circuit board here. It's a different plug, okay? So what I have to do to I have to cut these off and fit new terminals for the correct plug. So we'll do that. Okay, so since I have to cut these terminals off, I just cut that extra heat shrink here because I'm going to be cutting these off. So we'll do that now. And they're just cut off. The yellow, we don't need to use it because that's for the speed. This oscilloscope doesn't have a speed on the fan, doesn't Doesn't vary the speed, so it doesn't need to know what speed it is. So let me just do this. Okay, so I've got one of these crimpers here. It's actually a Japanese tool. Okay, it's made in Japan. And so I'll be fitting the terminal in there first. Okay, what I like to do is put the terminal under 1.9 first. So I got the wire, and I'll crimp that, and then I'll run it in the 1.6 smaller crimp again, being a very fine wire, and crimp it again. Okay, test it, seems to be okay. And now we'll close the insulation holder a little bit, and we'll crimp that as well. And this one and the 1.9, normally just one time, it should be enough. I'm just trying to cut the camera underway here. Okay. So I had to turn the app off again and restart it so it can try to focus. If I pause this Samsung, once you pause it, it cannot focus anymore. Okay, so just got to do the other terminal. So we'll get one more terminal there. Put that in here. And run the wire in there. If I can see what I'm doing, because I only got the glasses on, don't have the lens, and I'm struggling to see. The terminal was used. Hang on a minute. And you see, when you're videoing, sometimes you don't know what you're doing. I actually was doing the wrong one. This is the ultra low speed, which is, they should have really written it in there. This is the 148 ohm resistor line, so that's not the one. I was doing the wrong one. This is the one that I need to do. The RC10. So, gotta start again. Anyway, I don't care. I'm just gonna cut it off and cut the insulation here, the heat shrink. It's trying to fight me. Okay. This wire, we can just cut it off or just bend it and put it in there, because we're not going to be using it. So wasted one terminal for nothing. We'll Okay. One terminal. Another terminal. Very fiddly, especially when you can't see properly. Okay. Always give it a little test. Not too much force, of course, because the wire is very thin. That's the outer terminal. Okay, now I've marked the negative, which side it goes on the original plug. So I have to take that off, so we'll press this in here. And that's off. And we'll put the negative on the same side. Okay, there. And the positive on the other side. Let me line them up. Sometimes what you got to do to these terminals, because when you crimp them, sometimes this could be getting squashed a little bit if you put it in wrong, or just bend the tag a little bit with the blade. Okay. Got to push them in. Make sure they're in all the way. That one doesn't look like it is yet. Lost the capability of focusing again this. Anyway. That should be it. Okay, so having such a long wire now, the long wire original of this new fan, plus the extension, so I slided the wire there on the side. I'm actually gonna run it on the power supply side as well. Okay, so it's out of the way of the where it needs to suck the air out. Okay. So now it's a matter of putting that back. Okay. Let's see which one's going first. Maybe the power supply, which goes down there. Yep, and the fan. Now maybe that plug should be like that. and we'll plug it there. Okay, so now it's a matter of lining everything in and without forcing anything. Okay, I probably should test it before I start putting the screws to make sure that at least the fan's going to run. Connect up a wire here, plug it in, and well, that's not good, the fan's not running. Or it is, sorry, I'm lying, it is running. But, oh yeah, I didn't have the glasses on, it is running. Yep, and it's blowing the air. And right now, it's very quiet. I cannot actually hear it. So I think that's a good improvement. And I can feel the air. And the air that I'm feeling is the same amount of air that I used to feel with the original fan. So there you go. So switch it off, shutting down. You should see the fan stopping. Yep. Okay. I think this is a success. I can sort of tell it's more quiet, but the final test will be when I put the cover on. So I'll put on the screws. Anyway, nothing special here, just putting the screws on. So I'll pause it and then I'll come back a bit later. Okay, so I put all the screws. Gotta put this star washer back. And the nut. And this nut doesn't have to be too tight, because it wasn't tight. You don't want to force things. Okay, so now a matter of putting in the cover, plastic case. So that looks like it goes that way. Okay. Sort of clips on. There's the legs. So now they used the Loctite on the bottom here. Everything's getting stuck. Okay, that's that. Now the final topped screws. Put the other side as well. Make sure that fits. Is it fitting or not fitting? Okay, it's fitting. Okay, so put the legs up. Let's give it a final test. Okay, bring the camera down. Put it on. So how I said, I made these ones lower. I filed these down because they were as high as that. So if you have it high as that, it's blocking slightly that bottom part there. Okay, I still can feel the air coming out, and I'll have to put it in the room because that's where I really know regarding the sound of it. But it's very quiet. It's definitely have made a difference. Obviously, the fan, the original fan, is bigger here, which could be creating more noise maybe as well, because it's restricting the air to be only from that point onwards, yeah, to come out. These blades are slightly different as well. The angle of them, they're slightly different to the new one, to the Noctua one. And so running the fan, you're slowing the original fan down is probably not recommended because it's restricted here. So because the other fan is less restriction, we can afford to slow it down to remove the noise from the draft of the air, which it did. So whoever came up with that fan, to install this fan here, the NF A6 ×25 for the Siglent SDS800 series, okay, is a good solution to remove the noise. The noise is way too high, annoying for a human to be listening to that noise. So that's a success. Whether you need to cut that, file it down on here, I don't know, but definitely the fan reduction in speed and having this design of fan is the solution. So I'm happy with that. So thank you for watching.